Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 horror film Mercy Black, a film that is directed by Owen Edgerton and it stars, let's have a look, we have Daniela Pineda, we have Miles Emmons, we have Elle Lamont, and this is one of those urban legend type horror films, a bit similar to the Slender Man and the what was that terrible one that I watched last year, that don't say it, don't think it thing. It's gone out of my mind. I remember it being terrible, and it focuses on, initially there are three young girls who go through some kind of trauma together. They do an awful thing and then it kind of jumps 15 years into the future. One of them has been in care for all that time, like psychiatric care, and she's just about to get released into her sister's care because she's all better now. So she goes home with her sister. Her sister has a young boy, Bryce, and essentially now she's put all this thing behind her. She created the things from when she was young, this urban legend called Mercy Black, that has now become this big kind of internet sensation. Not that we kind of see the effect of that other than a few internet clips here and there. A bit like the Slender Man sensation thing, where her and her friends created this character when they were young and this awful thing happened that she got blamed for, and then strange things start happening. The young boy starts hearing things, seeing things, and then lo and behold, this urban legend Mercy Black may well be more real than everybody realised. And is it some kind of supernatural force that was created all them years ago, or is it something a little bit more grounded in reality? Well, you'll have to watch the film to find out. Now, what did I think of Mercy Black? Well, this was a film I was actually quite looking forward to watching. I'd heard a couple of good things about it, and after watching it, I do think there are elements of this film that work particularly well. It's a competently made film with decent performances throughout. It's not super low budget or anything like that, so it's got good production values, an interesting idea, and good performances throughout, and it's well directed. I can't really fault it in all those kind of areas. I think what for me cheapens this film is early on it's littered with really awful jump scares. I mean, and to the point where they really get annoying after a while, you know what I mean? I just can't do with manufactured cheap jump scares in horror movies, and I don't know, I genuinely don't know why they do it, and this film didn't need it. Not that it's a scare fest or anything. It does have a couple of effective scares in it, this film, but to me it spoils films when they put cheap jump scares in it, and there's too many of them at the beginning of this film. It's got horror tropes all over the place. There's a boyfriend, sister's boyfriend's, within like 10 seconds of him talking, you know he's going to be a dick. And it's just all a bit generic in its setup, this film, and it, a bit predictable in its setup, however, I do think once the story really takes off, once she starts delving into this Mercy Black thing again that she tried so hard to bury in her subconscious or believe it wasn't real, and she starts investigating it, and once it starts escalating with the child Bryce, this Mercy Black thing, it starts picking up, and consequently you get a good end to the movie because it kind of grabs your interest by the end as to, okay, what is going on? Is this supernatural? Is it not supernatural? And I wanted to know what was happening by the end. But saying that, I didn't like the ending. I thought it cheapened itself with the ending that it gave right at the end. I thought everything leading up to the kind of the final 10 seconds was okay in regards to the ending they gave us, but the final scene kind of made me roll my eyes a bit. clearly hoping for more sequels. For sequels is this thing. It's reasonably predictable. There's elements of it I figured out, but there was a couple of surprises too. But I've got to say I was a little bit underwhelmed with this film and a little bit disappointed. I was hoping for a little bit more, and unfortunately I think it tries a little bit too hard, and its setup's a little bit too generic for me, and some of the horror tropes are just a bit too much to bear, like the jump scares and things like that. So it makes quite a few missteps, but I'd say the last 40 minutes of the film is easily the best part of the film for me. So it is worth checking out. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. It's just above average, I would say, but I think it did have potential to certainly be much better. So give it a go. It is worth a watch, I would say, if you like movies like this, like I was about to say Slenderman, not Slenderman, because that was a terrible film. And in fact, there's not many films in this genre that do tend to work quite well, and this is certainly better than the last 2 or 3 that I've seen. So it is worth checking out for that reason alone. So that's my review for Mercy Black. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you next time on Screen Stars.